Hi, this is Amy Mayer, and I'm a moderator for GEG Texas and GEG Houston, and this is our online meetup for us here in Texas. This is the night before school starts, so hopefully if you can't catch this tonight, you can watch it later. And I'm here with several guests, Ann DeBolt, Efren Rodriguez, and Joey Kirkland. And we will be teaching you some fabulous Google tips and tricks, and I am going to start us off with something that I use all the time. So I was just telling everybody these things always make me nervous. So bear with me. I'm going to share my screen here, and you guys are going to let me know if you see that okay. So do you guys see that all right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is one of my favorite tips or tricks having to do with Google. I use it all the time. I was able to work in my former school district literally for 6 months before I knew the long distance code because I do all my phone calls with Hangouts. So I don't talk on the phone that much, but when I do, I'm probably using Hangouts. So this is how you do it if you want to start using this tip. And if you want to come back to this demo slam later on, this is the URL to get to this demo slam. So it's bit.ly/Amy capital A, demo capital D, slam capital S. Hopefully that works for you. So I access Hangouts right through my Gmail account. I have right side chat turned on. That is a lab in your Gmail account. So if you want to see your chat on the right side, it makes it a lot easier to see, a lot more visible in my opinion. But the way you start a phone call in Google Hangouts, and this of course is after you've transitioned to the new version of Hangouts, so if you haven't done that yet, whenever you start using it, you'll see that option to transition to the new Hangouts. So do that first. Everything works better and easier. Then you're going to click the little magnifying glass. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put in a phone number. Now, I use Google Voice, and so I can give my phone number to anyone. I can even put it online. I can put it on Twitter, because if you call me and I don't want you to, then it's really, really easy to block you. Not that any of you guys would ever do that, but that is my actual phone number, and I'm not afraid to give it away because I have complete control over it, just like I'm not afraid to give out my Gmail address because I have total control over that too. So you just type the phone number into the box there and you hit enter, and the phone will start to call. So, I mean, before you do that, make sure you have headphones plugged in and you know that you have speakers or something like that, because you're going to start a phone call. It looks like this when the phone call starts, and the only fear moment I've ever had is, oh my God, how do I hang up? You know, I don't like talking on the phone anyway, so I had to figure that out. So right away you see that there is a red little headset button up there. I can just imagine a day when a kid is going to say, what is that symbol? What does that stand for? Because who's seen a phone like that recently? Not me, but that's what headsets used to look like. And that's the hang up button. This is what the phone call looks like, and that is it. So slam. And I'm going to stop sharing now and turn it over to whoever's next. And that person is Efren. And Efren, now I got to figure out how I can present to everyone. Okay, I think I'm going to click on your little picture. And okay, now, Efren, you are on.
And hopefully I'm sharing this correctly. Hopefully everyone can see that.
We got it. We see it.
Awesome. So what I was going to show is I was at a conference the other day, and people didn't know that you could easily look for flash animations. Especially they work really well with Chromebooks and obviously Android phones and so on, but you would have a problem with iOS devices. So basically you just enter whatever you're looking for. In this case I'm doing chemistry, so I'll do gas laws. I'll go over to the little gear icon, go on to advanced search, and you'll notice that whatever you entered is on the front first box. Then you scroll all the way to the second to the last item, which is your file type. You click on that, and then you can select Shockwave Flash, click on Advanced Search, and then pretty much most of these should be flash animations that you could use. This way students can actually see the concept that you're trying to go over. Now I gotta warn you, if I click on this first one, there are some things now called Flash Paper, so I guess they're using these instead of Adobe PDFs. So just so you know that you might run across those. But let me go to the second one, which is the one that I've actually used in class. And you can notice that it does have audio associated with it. And then you can click on the different items that are there. I'll go to this next one. And this is the one that the students really like because you can actually increase or decrease any of the things that you're working with. So all you have to do is copy this link and then paste it to wherever you're going to use it to share it with the students. Now, if you're not sure about internet access, you can always go to the Google menu button, click on Save Page As, and make sure it does say SWF down here, which is your flash file, and then you could save it. And then you can keep that. So just in case you're worried about the internet going down or maybe having some problems with connections, you can always use it from your computer. The only thing is I always talk about, always make sure that you reference where you get it from. So you, you can keep it like that. Once I have this link, what I've done before is I'll embed it in a Google form, I'll put it in a doc, anything like that to help students give descriptions of what they're working on. So that's all I've got for that one.
That is awesome.
Wow.
I did not know that. Did y'all know that? That you could search like that? No, we did not know that.
All right, so let me stop.
I lost Efren. Can you all hear him? No? You're very quiet as well. All right. Well, I still can't hear you, Efren. If you can hear me. Oh, I think he's rejoining. There you are.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So were there any questions on that one? That's what I had for the flash animations. And again, you can obviously, if you looked at the options, you can have you can search for PDFs, Word docs, PowerPoints, and so on. So it's the easy way to try to look for something that you might be interested in.
Yeah, that is really cool.
All right, so I kept that one under 5 minutes.
Good job.
Thank you. All right, so the next one, since I figured I'd do a second one, that way maybe we'll have some extra time for anyone to do an extra one. At the end is basically using, let me see if this will go back. So you can use it, the Google Forms and Google Slides together sort of as a clicker system that people would ask me about. Does everyone see the question 1 teacher link?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, so basically if you're doing a presentation with your students and they're following along with you, you've just covered some material. In this case, I used an example of we were discussing the atom. So when the students get to this part, all they would have to do is click on question 1. And then they would answer the question. So in this case, I'll answer it nucleus. And they would submit it. So all the students would submit it that way. So that's normally with the clickers, you're clicking on something to do a response. There's an additional link here, and you can see that it says teacher link. If the students click on this, it won't show them anything, because basically this is the summary of responses. So when I click on this, you can quickly see how the students answered.
Oh, nice.
You can see the majority of the students answered correctly or incorrectly, and you'll know if you need to go back and review.
That is a great idea.
So this is all just from their devices, and again, it could be any device that they're looking at the presentation, be it a phone, be it Android or iOS, because again, Google Forms, you can see it on either one. Slides, as long as you have internet access and a browser, you'd be able to get that. And the way yes, ma'am.
No, I would just want you to show, I mean, I think I know how you did that, but I want you to show anybody who might be watching this later how you got the link to the summary of responses.
Okay, that's what I was going to do next.
Great, great.
So, first off, what I did was I created a form. That was the first thing. So I just did the normal thing, created one question. I clicked on View Live Form, and on the link, this is the link that I copied, which is the URL for the form itself. And let me exit out of this. And all I did is I put a slide, question 1, teacher link, and then I just highlighted question 1. I click on the hyperlink, and then I just pasted the URL for the form. The next thing is, now that I'm in my form, I click on View Responses. So it'll take me to the spreadsheet for the form itself. Then I went, sorry, internet's going a little bit slow. I went to Form and Show Summary Responses. And again, you have to be logged in to your account to be able to see this. And then I just copied the URL for the summary. Went back to my slide, highlighted teacher link, click on the hyperlink, and I pasted it onto there. And then you just run the presentation, and now the students will be able to click on the link for question 1, and then you'll be able to click on the teacher link afterwards. Now, I've spoken to some teachers, and they weren't really comfortable with sharing their whole presentation. I'm not sure why. So the other thing I was thinking, okay, well, you can just create a Google Doc that has all the questions. Question 1, question 2, question 3, and then when they're on the slide that says question 1, all they'd have to do is click on the link for question 1, and it'll take them straight to the form itself. And then they would be able to answer it. Once they're all done answering, again, you would go back to your slide, click on the teacher link, and you'd be able to get the results.
That is such a smart thing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Efren. Both really great tips. I definitely learned something new already today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I feel special then.
Yeah, well, you should. And I am really glad that Jessica made it back in time because, Jessica, it's your turn. Are you ready? You're muted, by the way.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I had a minor emergency, left my keys at my parents' house, had to have them brought to me. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my computer was not available. All right, so I told you guys I was going to share a Google a Day with everyone. So if you've never used it before, it's a great tool for strengthening a student's critical thinking skills, and it's a really good way to kind of bolster their research skills as well. So a Google a Day is just www.agoogleaday.com. If you don't know that address, you can always go to Google and just Google it, a Google a Day. And what it is, it's a kind of a game scenario provided by Google, and you can start playing. Anybody can play, and it asks you these questions that are kind of these complex questions that seem easy, and it provides you with a search area right above you that is kind of it says right below, this is an experimental version of Google search, so it's kind of like a throwback in time before the question was created or something.
Do you want to share your screen, Jess?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was already doing that. It says you're presenting to everyone, so let's try that again.
Use your green screen share button in the top left of your Hangout window.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
A moment. Okay, now can you guys see it okay?
Yes, that's great.
Okay, so it's at googleaday.com. So up here in the top is that little protected search area I was mentioning earlier, and then below is this question that it's a geography question. I get up to 3 questions here, and I'm getting points based on how quickly I can answer the question. So notice here on the right there's this little countdown, and it's telling me how many points I'm losing every second that I'm talking. But what's great is you can't just go up here and search this question. What was the profession of the pioneer of the Great Silk Road? You have to kind of break down the question and kind of think about the important information that you might be looking for. So first I need to know, I don't know anything about the Great Silk Road, so I'm going to Google that, the Great Silk Road, and hit enter. So I can already see that it's something from ancient history. I can see that it's something, and I know it's a geography question. So again, I'm just going to, now I'm going to break it a little, I'm going to go a little bit backwards. So the Great Silk Road, now I'm looking for the profession of the pioneer. So now I need to know who was the pioneer of the Great Silk Road. So pioneer, Great Silk Road. And so I'm going to be working backwards to get the answer. Anybody know this one already? The answer to it?
I have no idea.
So pioneer, Great Silk Road. So I'm not going to sit here and make you guys go through all this, but as I answer the question, it's going to, again, award me points, and it's going to get me to the next question. So again, I'll get 3 questions. When I'm done, it's going to give me a score. My score gets ranked, and I can do this every single day, and new questions will come up.
Try Marco Polo. What happens if you type it in and it's wrong?
Well, if I type in the answer, it's going to tell me Marco Polo, because that's me the profession, remember?
Oh, right. So that's going to be wrong. Okay.
No, it's wrong. I'm going to give me a hint. So it's something in the government, I guess. Government. Let's show first letters. So D. So Marco Polo. was not the answer.
So are you really not going to be guessing this?
I'm really probably not going to be guessing this. Obviously, I wouldn't know this question beforehand, or else I would have cheated and looked it up. But since I didn't do that, this is what it is. But anyhow, it's a great way to kind of work your students into a better research practice, so they're not just trying to Google questions in Google to get answers. So there you go, SLAM.
Awesome, thank you. You told me about that technique before,
Mhm.
but I haven't ever actually seen it played. So I know that there were teachers you showed that to when we were in Huntsville at Mance Park, who were really excited about that. You do have to be over 13 to play, is that right?
I think so, yeah, because it's powered through Google Plus, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what we found out, and it actually caused us to turn Google Plus on for our over 13 students. We just didn't have really a need for it until Jess showed some teachers that, and they were like, "Oh, we have to do that. We have to get this turned on." And so we actually turned Google Plus on for everybody 8th grade and over, because for us, all of those kids were over 13 years old. So it kind of pushed us forward to doing that. And I don't know if you know, Jess, but even after you left the district, we had teachers who continued using that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
well, and it also kind of brings that whole gaming concept to the classroom a little bit, because a lot of teachers don't really know how to incorporate that gaming concept, and this is built right in for you. So it kind of plays on students' interest and what gets them excited, but also it's reinforcing something that we struggle to teach in the classroom all the time.
Right. Well, they really loved it, and there are all different kinds of questions too, right?
Right, so all different types of questions. And so as an English teacher, I don't care about geography questions necessarily, but I need my students to be able to kind of decipher information, pick apart the question, and find good information that's kind of reliable. So when you teach them how to be critical thinkers when they're researching, you're going to be paying forward in other things you do in your classes.
Yeah, good point. So it really transfers to every subject.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Joey, you are up. Hold on just a second, and you will be broadcasted. And
all right.
There we go. Joey, you're on.
I'm on. All right, let's see if I can do this.
Is that a cool new way to wear your headphones, Joey?
With the one ear?
Uh-huh.
I just kind of got used to only putting one ear in because my wife or my kids would be talking to me in the other end, so I could still hear them.
Oh, a multitasking technique.
That's right. a little multitasking there. All right. So you guys should be able to see that.
Yes.
Right.
Alice, our friend Alice.
So yeah, I can't take full credit for this. I saw this come across my Twitter feed or Google Plus or something, and kind of followed, birdwalked into Alice's website and saw this. I was like, I've got to share this out. So again, can't take credit for this. This is Alice Keeler, and then if you follow along, you look up her website, you'll see her presentation on all of this. But what I want to talk about is creating a personalized teacher newsletter for each student. Parents are going to be more invested in newsletters if there's a personal touch to it for them. So I saw this technique and thought, man, that's got to be a lot of work. And I even kind of talked about it to my team, and they're like, gosh, there's no way I'm going to have time for that. But yet Alice has an easy way. So the first thing Alice has is a set of newsletter templates, and you follow right here to look at the templates. And then you'll add that folder to your drive, select a template, and then make a copy of it and move it to another folder within your drive. And I'm going to show how I did that. That's my hold music, by the way.
I figured.
So here, oops, one too many. So here's my little folder that I made, individual newsletters. And inside of it, I picked a template that I liked, and I also copied the spreadsheet that she had. So looking at the template, it's already got built-in spaces with the tags for what we're going to be doing. So you see right here, name, and it's repeated several times. So that way, whenever I run the merge that I'm going to talk about here in a second, it automatically puts it in there for me, nice and easily. So we will move on to the next slide. So here's the spreadsheet template that I was talking about. I went ahead and just kind of put in my email address and my name, but you would ordinarily fill it out with all of your students' names and your parent email addresses. Now, I teach at a Title I campus, and we have a hard time getting parent email addresses. So those parents who don't have an email address, all is not lost. We have another way to get this information to them as well. But throughout the week, we will go onto our spreadsheet and we'll type in notes about filling this in. So a good note about our child, Joseph. Joseph shared responsibly this week. Was he good at? Is good at addition. Probably not so good at the grammar. Don't judge me. We would like to see Joseph share more often. I don't know. So throughout the week, I would fill out this information on my students, and then would come time to do our merge. So the way this system works is through Autocrat. I know Alice has her own add-on that she made, but I went ahead and went through Autocrat. And here's a few of the options here that I'm going to be running down. So we're going to create a new merge job with Autocrat, the add-on. And while that's thinking, I'll talk about it here. So we're going to name our merge job newsletter, and then we're going to have to pair our tags. So it's going to say, okay, name, note, good, and goals. What do you want to, what headers do those apply to? And so I'm going to select that and match them up. And then our file naming convention, we're going to use some tags that are up at the top. Let's see if it's ready for us. It is. So first we have to find our template. It's probably not the one that I wanted to use anyway, but it's all right. So now we need to name it. And you can kind of see through the loading screen. There we go. Name, student name. Here's where we're matching them all up. And our goals. And then here's where I was talking about the naming convention. You've got these different tags up here. So I would name it, oops, just copying what's up there, and change it to a PDF. And because we're 21st century, we're going to email. Again, this is going to be using the tag at the top, where it's parent email. Subject.
Hey, Joey, I see a couple of questions coming in on the side. I'm going to go ahead and ask those. Dorothy had two really good questions. One question she had was, am I going to be able to watch this later? And the answer is yes. We're live streaming to YouTube, and it will be archived and on air later. And her other question is, are you using Autocrat? And I think you said you are, Joey. You're using Autocrat, even though Alice, when she goes through this process, she has an add-on that she's created that she used, but you're doing this with Autocrat. So if Dorothy wants to try this, she can use Autocrat.
Yes. I know Autocrat sometimes is a little finicky, but I like the options that it gives me.
I think it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I set up kind of what my email is going to look like, and I want it to be emailed as a PDF. Under advanced settings, I'm going to leave my conditional merge options empty because I always want it to run. I need to select my folder as far as where it's going. And there's my folder. And then I leave this part blank, run it at a set interval, because I want to determine whenever I'm going to run it. So we'll hit save, and then still waiting on it. So I'll go back to my presentation here. So here's kind of those options I was talking about, the advanced settings, leaving stuff blank. And so throughout the week, we're going to add those comments to our spreadsheet. And on Friday or whichever day you choose to run the merge, whichever day you're going to send home your newsletters, for my campus, it's actually Thursdays. That's the day that we are going to click on it and click Run Merge. So that way, that's the day that it's going to get emailed to our parents. And for those parents who don't have I'm still thinking. For those parents who don't have an email address, it's going to create a PDF that I can then turn around and print out and send home that physical copy with the students. And so that's sending out personal newsletters easily. Slam.
Awesome. That is an amazing idea. Yeah, I mean, I guess the parents must be so much more anxious to get that than they are a general newsletter that does not have their child's name and specific information about their child in it.
I would think so. I would believe that those parents who really want that information are going to be excited to have it with their child, relevant information to their child.
And you're going to do that this year, Joey?
I am, and I'm going to get my partner teacher to do it as well.
Great. I look forward to hearing how that goes. It's a great technique.
I really liked it, and like I said, once I saw that, I was like, I have to share that. I have to share how that's going to work and really try and get people using that.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody's watching this and they are thinking that maybe that's too technical for them. Would you agree with me that you should really just give it a try? Because while you click through those options pretty fast, but the first time you did that, you probably just read the prompts on the screen and just followed the directions that popped up.
Absolutely. Autocrat's really good about having those directions there for you, and it's easy to just kind of follow and plug and play.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even that last part where you were given the file naming convention and you were typing in, it almost looked like you were typing in a code. You did the $sign and then the parent email, but you just saw those codes listed right up at the top of the form that was there on the screen, right?
Right. It's just right there. Those tags are right on top, and they're named pretty easily to where you know what those tags are for. Parent email is obviously their parent email, and student name is obviously the student name. So I just use that information so that way those are things that I won't have to type in each time. It'll type it in for me automatically.
Yeah.
I was always afraid of mistyping those tags, and you can actually just copy paste them straight from the top there. I just highlight, copy, paste.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Copy
I can
paste is your
just slide
friend.
right over them. Yeah, no
Joey,
doubt.
so wait, I learned something else really cool about that, Joey. So where you put $sign and the email address that you're sending it to, you also can like plug in, for instance, if you want to send a copy of this to your principal, for whatever your use might be, you also can plug in somebody else's email address in that same to section, just separate them with commas, and that way every time one of these gets mailed out, of course with a student newsletter it wouldn't be the right way to do it, but if you use it for something different, you can also plug in like somebody else's email address, they will always get a copy of it. So that was kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Really good tip.
Yeah.
You have to put a space or a comma, or
it's
what do you
a comma and a space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool. So you could actually CC yourself and keep a folder of those. You could set up a mail rule and have all those automatically go to a folder, and then if somebody said, I didn't get Johnny's newsletter this week, you could really easily find it and forward it to them.
Right. Oh, one other thing that I forgot to mention. So instead of having to redo all those steps each week, you're only setting that up the first time. Then to go back, you're going to go back and just re-enter those comments or delete the comments and enter new comments for the next week, and then resubmit that, rerun that merge.
Gotcha. So you won't have to type all the information over.
Right.
Yeah. We need to give a prize to Dorothy Wyndham, who is our definitely like top participator tonight. She said to you, Joey, big thank you to you both for showing me Autocrat. She said, Amy, I heard this first from you in Galveston at TCEA, and she said she loves the personalized newsletter idea. So thank you. Thank you, Dorothy, for participating, because it makes this a lot less weird to know that you're listening and paying attention to what we're talking about here. All right, we have one more demo slam to go, unless anyone gets inspired after that. And Ann DeBolt, I am about to start broadcasting you, and you are up. Ann, are you on?
I am here.
There you are.
I was muted and didn't know if you could hear me or not.
No, we couldn't.
Well, my tip is so obvious, but it is so amazing. And I did not learn this until just a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, how have I not seen this before? And maybe you know it. Amy, I know that you have used slides to do art, to create graphics. Are y'all able to see my screen? It's really messed up for me.
Not yet. It looks like it's a screen share black hole. You know how when you're looking in a mirror and there's another mirror behind you?
Yeah, that's what's going on.
So screen share, maybe, yeah, maybe exit out of it and try it again and pick a different window. It looks like it might have screen shared the menu.
Here we go. This is the one I want. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Does that look better?
Yes, that looks great.
Okay. Using Google Slides, you can actually use this for desktop publishing. Have you done this before, anybody?
I am anxious to see what you're going to say. I think maybe I have, and Jessica Powell always asks me, why don't you use Draw? And I say, because I'm obsessed with slides, so I can't wait to see what you do.
Well, like I said, this was one of those things that was like, when somebody showed me, it was like, how have I not known this? Because I'm really big on drawing. You know that's my favorite Google app. But the problem with Google Drawing is you only get one page. So if you wanted to do, let's say you wanted to do a math page, if you start with just this plain, hang on a second, I'm having a little difficulty here. If you start with just a plain white page, just like in Google Drawing, you can go to Page Setup, and you can do a custom page. So if I wanted to do an 8.5 by 11 page, I could do that here. I probably would pick 7.5 by 10, so that I don't have to worry about margins. So now I have a nice sheet of paper, basically. And if I want to do a math worksheet, and I have some images that I want to put in, such as this, I can put my image in here and then type in whatever my question is. And of course up here, you know, I could do name and do the line and all those kinds of things. So I don't know if you're as impressed as I was, but
I am. I love this idea.
You know, and the thing is, you put it and it stays where you want it to be. So now I've got, you know, I've got my front page, and then I just go in and I insert another slide, and there's the back. So I can do front and back and basically design whatever I want to make any type of worksheet or anything that I would want to. So it makes it easier because you can manipulate things in here so much more easily than you can in Google Docs. And also because you have the second page, it's a little bit easier to work with than Google Drawings.
This is how I make handouts for like work sessions when I'm going to work with teachers, because you can make it really pretty, and just like you said, you don't have to have all the restrictions that a Google Doc gives you. And so I have made a bunch of these. Instead of using these expensive Adobe products and things like that, I'm just using Google Slides to make my PDFs. So I love this idea.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe that I hadn't seen it, because, you know, I'd always gone to drawings whenever I wanted to have more control, and when I saw that, I thought, well, this really makes a lot of sense. So that's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Anne. And we have a question from Dorothy, our best friend. Dorothy, next time you have to present, FYI, you're up. I'm putting you on the spreadsheet. She wants to know, Anne, how did you get that graphic as a JPEG? So let's say that you made that. Let's pretend that you made that graphic in Drawing. How would you get it into the slide from Drawing? She said, I tried to insert Drawing into a doc last week, and it wouldn't recognize it as an image.
Okay. That's a good question, Dorothy. This image right here is actually one that I just did a Google search for. But if you were to create it in Google Drawings, what you would do is, let me go ahead and open one up. Whatever you did in here, when you were finished, you would just go to File and you would export it as a JPEG. I cannot remember, does Slides accept PNGs? I don't think it does it?
Yes, it does.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and as you can see, my internet's really slow. But once you had your drawing or your math problem or whatever, your map, whatever image it was that you wanted to use, you could download here as a JPEG, and then just go back to your presentation and then insert it like I did this one.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm kind of obsessed with this using presentations for non-standard purposes. And I have a video, I think it's on the Synergize channel, and it's about using them to create posters, using slides to create posters. It's a kind of a similar idea. And I wanted to point out that if you do have Adobe products, like if you have Adobe Illustrator on your computer and you want to print out that slide as a poster and you need to get, printer's marks on it or whatever, you can download a slide as a scalable vector graphic. And as long as you have used text and a large image in there, you can really make it whatever size you want. So I love that technique. And of course you can do that with drawing too, but yeah, that is awesome. Okay, I think we have another volunteer. I think Jessica Powell is going to share another demo slam with us. Thank you, Jessica.
You're very welcome.
You are on.
Okay, so this might be a total aha moment for me and maybe a dumb moment for everybody else, but we do a lot of video work in our district and students can't access YouTube on their network. And so the workarounds usually download the video, put it in Drive, and share it from Drive. But when we use Moodle, for instance, we can't embed the video, or at least we didn't know how. So just based on my own personal frustration level, I finally figured it out. So I wanted to share that with everybody just in case they're interested. Okay, so let me share my screen so you can see. Let's see. All right, and we're going to use a Google site just for example today. Even though in Google Sites you actually can just insert from your Drive and it will embed it beautifully. But let's pretend this is a Moodle course and we want to embed a video. So in my Drive I have a bunch of videos. I'm going to set my share settings, so I'm going to right click on the video and click share. I'm going to make sure anybody with the link can view, and here's the link, okay? If I double clicked on this video right now in my Drive, it would open it up in preview mode, and used to you could click these little 3 buttons and get an embed code up here.
I know this video so well, and they're all screaming too. I don't know why they screamed, but
well, they didn't know I could hear them, So used to you could click up here though at the top, and you could get an embed code. And forever I've done it that way, and now we can't do that with the new version of Drive. Well, actually you can. So I would go to my share settings, like I was saying. Go to your share settings, make sure anybody with the link can view. Copy your own link. Go to a new tab and open your link. And now up here, and I'm going to have to pause it real fast so you don't have to hear them. Okay. Right here in the 3 lines, it looks similar as it did in preview mode, but now I can get the embed code here. So now I have an embed code that I can copy.
Okay, you got to show me that again. I looked away for just a second. I was answering a question, and I missed it. So one more time.
Sure. So here's the video I normally would just open in preview mode to get the embed code in the old version of Drive.
Right.
But it's not there anymore.
Right.
So now I have to get the URL for this video, and I make sure my share settings are set so that anybody can view it.
Okay.
I'll get my own code, and I don't even have to go to an incognito window or anything. I'm just going to open a new tab and paste the URL.
Okay.
And from here, now those 3 little dots do give us the embed
how did you ever figure that out?
It took me forever to figure it out, and maybe, like I said, it might have been something everybody else knew about, and I just didn't get the newsletter, but I certainly didn't know. So now I can copy it. I can go, for instance, to my page here that I want to embed it. I'll just go to the HTML code of that page, and I'll paste it, and now click Save, and it will show up just like I need it to.
That is amazing. I had no idea that that was there.
Yeah, it took me I guess I had to Google it. I don't even remember what I did. I just remember I was about to pull my hair out because we were trying to embed videos in our Moodle classes, and we couldn't figure it out anymore, but there you go.
Did anybody else know that?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
No, my money was if anyone was gonna figure it out, it would have been Jess.
Yeah, no doubt.
Really good at Googling.
Unfortunately, she's not always as invested in my problems as she is in her own. I try to get her interested so that I will be able to figure out things, but
I
sometimes
need
I
an
can't get her
incentive, like,
interested. Yeah,
cold
she
beer
needs
at
an
the other
incentive.
end.
Really, that's all it takes. Now I know. Now I know. All right, well, we have a few minutes left. If anybody else has anything they feel inspired to share, and
There's,
if not, that's okay. But anybody
there's
feel
I guess I
going?
could do one extra one.
Great.
It's not a big deal, I don't think so. But let me show you because when we're doing parent contacts and so on, and sometimes you're writing on a sheet of paper or on a form that they provide you with and so on. So what I did is basically I started telling teachers that you could just do a form for it, for the parent contact. So all you do is set it up, student name, reason for contact, the discussion that you had with the parent. You could even put in their parent's name that you talked to, right? And the nice thing about this, as soon as you fill it out, when you go to the live form, you can set this up as a shortcut, or sorry, a bookmark on Google Chrome, so that way any computer that you log into, you'll have it available to you, and then you just fill it out. You don't have to worry about what time it took place because you're automatically going to get the time
Oh,
stamp
good
completion.
point. Oh, you got the time and the date
Yeah.
automatically.
And then the nice thing is, since it puts it in your spreadsheet, you can just share that with your administrator. So if they want proof that you had your contacts, you just, instead of trying to turn in a whole bunch of papers, you can just share that one spreadsheet with them and they can see all the different parent contacts that you've already done.
That is a great idea. I love that. I have not thought about using that way before because I don't make parent contacts anymore. But so many people do. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love
So
using Google Forms.
that same idea that you just had, if you take it one step further and you asked, for instance, when I was working at Oak Ridge High School, we had a problem with kids turning their homework in. So we would have a form like that that all the teachers in the campus had access to, and they had it bookmarked. But it asked students to fill it out, and you had to put in your student ID number. And so every day at the end of the day, some unlucky soul, usually me, but it could have been a number of people, copied all those student ID numbers, and we had a student messenger phone call go out telling the parents that their child hadn't turned in their homework and they needed to double check with the teachers. So it was a daily call out that went out on a schedule, and we just used the form that the teachers bookmarked to pull those student ID numbers, and we just plugged those in.
Did you guys ever have any parents call up and say, "Stop calling me! You're calling me
All
every
the
day."
time. All the time. And the principal said, well, then,
Have
get
them
with
do
your
their
kiddo.
homework.
Have them do their homework. It's not our problem anymore. You guys got to take care of that at home. So it was a really interesting situation, and I'm glad I didn't have to answer those phone calls from the parents. But yeah, I thought we did see a decrease in the amount of homework that was missing by the end of the first quarter. So it was a good tool.
Awesome. That is so cool. I have one more comment from our friend Dorothy. She says that she did the same thing with IEP meetings and changes to them. She's the testing coordinator this year. And then she runs Autocrat and shares notes with the tester. She just made it a bookmark, like you mentioned, and so very similar usage. That is a great comment. Thank you, Dorothy. Anybody else have anything?
I do have another thing if you want.
Do it. Go for it.
This is based on teachers wanting to basically password protect type of thing, their website. I don't know, and I had asked you this before, Amy, if there was a possible way to password protect
Oh,
it.
what'd you come up with? I do remember us talking about this. I can't wait to see the solution.
So what you can do is you can actually create your Google group. If anyone still uses Google Groups.
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I use them all the time.
So like I've got a Google group here that it was an old one that I used to use. So what you can do is when you go into, let me go back to it. When you go into the group itself, and if you click on About, you can get the group email right here. So you would copy that, for example, go into your website, click on Share, and right now I have it public, but instead you would turn public off, and what you can do then is you can just paste the group address right here, and then the only people that can get to it, so let me change this, so I'm just going to put on specific people. So at this point, It's not public anymore. It's only the specific people, and the specific people is anybody in your group. So anybody that you add to your Google group will now have access to this website, and they're the only ones that can get to that website. The only requirement is obviously they'll have to have a Google account and they must have joined your group. But that's the way you can password protect your website. The only people that you can allow that would be able to go into your website is the people that you specifically added to that group.
That is awesome. So if you're already maintaining a group for your class, then this would be seamless because you would add them to the group and that would give them access to your website.
Right. And instead of you filling out a whole bunch of students right here, all you'd have to worry about is adding them to the group, and if they leave, you just take them off the group. And you never have to mess with the website again.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And now that you can use groups in Google Classroom, it's really even more of a reason to work from a group's perspective instead of adding them to all these different places, because then you only have to control the group and everything else is taken care of from there.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
That's so cool, Efren. Thanks.
No problem.
Neat.
Amy put me in the path to look for it.
No, I should have just told you to call Jessica, but
I would have asked you for it here at the end of it, Efren, so you know.
She wouldn't have looked for it until it was her problem, and you had to somehow make it her problem. All right, well, does anybody have anything else they want to share?
No, but I love this. I want to do this again soon. I don't want this to be so long in between our next activity because I thought this was really valuable.
I agree with you. I learned so much, and I feel a little bit less intimidated about this format now. I feel like it worked really well, and you guys all stepped up to the plate and participated and all that. So let's do it again. When do you guys want to schedule it? Maybe a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, we will do it again then. We're supposed to have one event per quarter for our GEGs, and maybe Efren will host one for the South Texas GEG. We'll get to go to that one too. Okay, cool. All right, well, thanks. Yeah, and Dorothy needs to be here next time. Dorothy, we're calling on you to participate next time. So, all right, well, you guys have a great first day of school tomorrow.
Thanks. You all too.
Everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.